Hello, everyone. 大家. Thank you. There's so much I could talk about on Flag Day, especially right before the parade. But today, I want to share a few thoughts about ownership. And don't worry, I'm not going to start with a definition of what is ownership. Instead, let's start with a question. Next. Raise your hand if you have ever wanted a leadership title at Brooks. And keep it up if you wanted but were not totally sure what the job actually involved. Okay, thank you. Put your hands down. That's something I'm really curious about, but now to the real second question. Here, my real second question. Raise your hand if part of you wanted a leadership role because you thought it would make your voice heard. Okay, nodding counts, yeah? Okay, thank you. Honestly, I can understand that feeling too. Please, next slide. So here's my confession. Even standing here right now, as a teacher, I still have the small voice in the back of my head asking, does my voice belong here? Sometimes I catch myself going over my words 3, 4, 5 times before speaking. Not because I don't know what I want to say, but because I wonder whether I truly belong in the room. And I have been here for 6 years. I think lots of us feel this way sometimes. We look around and think everyone else already fits in better than we do. More connected, more confident, more comfortable. So we think maybe a title, a bench, a leadership position will finally make us feel secure enough to speak up. But today is actually proof that this idea isn't true. You might look at some students here and think, same background, same story, same everything. But in 10 minutes, when many of you are walking into Main Street carrying different flags, you will notice something different and important. Students you thought were similar might actually be walking under completely different flags. And even students walking under the same flag can come from very different stories and life experience. For example, you will say Riley, Roy, Daniel, and Paul walking under Korean flag. You might assume they all share the same experience as Korean students, but that's not completely true. Riley and Daniel grew up in Korea. Roy grew up in China. Paul grew up in Singapore. They have been shaped by different countries, different cultures, and different community. Same flag, but very different journeys. And that's true to all of us here. In this community, every student, every adult carries their own unique identity and story, even if they may look alike or walk under the same flag. So my message to you is this. Take ownership of who you are. However, ownership is not only about being proud of your own identity. It is also about acknowledging and making space for people whose stories are different from yours in this shared community. Our campus is unique, beautiful, yet sometimes challenging too. Brooks is not defined by its buildings, social media pages, or newsletters. Brooks is defined by the people in this room. Each of us shape this culture every single day. Every conversation you choose to have, every time you stay behind to help clean up when no one is watching, every time you sit next to someone who is lonely, every time you walk with someone instead of past them on Main Street. It shows up in small moments, again and again. Those small moments matters more than you think. That is ownership. So before we headed out to Main Street, I want to leave you with one question. Where in your life could you have taken ownership and didn't? Not to make you feel guilty, but because that's where your growth lives. You don't need a flag to belong here, but today, grab one anyway, because every flag out there tells a story, and so do you. Let's celebrate that together. Thank you.